Happy half term, everybody. How's everyone feeling about it at the moment? It's probably not going to be the most exciting half term in the world. It's not like you're going to go to, a beach in Bermuda. But at least I hope you can get, at least some relaxation and a bit of fun in there as well. What are you planning on doing? I'm actually really interested. Please do comment below. If you're a previous subscriber watching this video, welcome back. If you're new, nice to meet you. I'm Ran from Beyond the Blackboard, and I cover content around working from home and GCSE and A-level advice and looking to the future with university or whatever. If that kind of content is useful for you, hit that subscribe button. Okay, down to brass tacks, what this video is really about. No more of this chit chat. We are going to talk about today how to set yourself a work structure and process while you're working from home, because essentially what you used to have is teachers and the school system giving you a lot more structure, but now you need to find a way of making your own and essentially teaching yourself a heck of a lot more than you were doing before, which of course is essentially a massive ask. Something that you're not really expected to do normally until university, but now, even if you're in year 10, you're slightly being asked to develop that skill. And also, you've obviously got massives of content you need to get through, whether you're in year 10 or to year 13. And what I'm hearing from a lot of you guys is that you're struggling with just the amount of stuff that you need to know with way less support than you usually have. So what I want to give you now is a really clear step-by-step structure of how you can support yourself and teach yourself this information while working from home. Okay, here we go. So I've racked my brains and put together another mnemonic. I love mnemonics. If you're in year 11, you might have seen my cool method that I made. If you'd like to know what the cool method is, check out that video above. But I put together a new mnemonic, and it is the 6R system, or what I prefer to call it is the I got that wrong. The I can't do it anymore. The system. The system. So what is the system? Firstly, routine, review the content, regurgitate the content, respond to the content, record how you found that topic, and then recap the content. What do I mean by each of these? I'm going to break it down now. Number one is routine. Now this is above and beyond, should always be the first thing that you do when sitting down for a day or week of studying. You should have an understanding of, firstly, how that topic you're about to study fits in with your bigger plan, looking maybe 2 to 3 months into the future, but also how that topic is going to be placed within your day. You should be spending 10 minutes at the beginning of each day planning which topics, etc., you're going to be covering when and where. And what this essentially means is having a clear timetable that looks into the future a lot. You can do this manually, you can do this in lots of different ways. Personally, I think the easiest way to do it is via an app called Adapt. I keep mentioning it on this channel, and that is honestly because I think it's absolutely fantastic, and it makes your life a heck of a lot easier and more manageable. Again, especially now you don't have school, where you don't have as clear a timetable, you can set your clear timetable yourself via this app. But whether you use Adapt or not, just do have a plan in place and a timeline for when you're going to cover the material when in the future. Next step is review. Now review is essentially just however you're seeing the information for the first time. Could be a lesson from your teacher online, but if you're not getting those lessons, which I know some of you aren't, you've always got the textbook. That's your bread and butter source of information. You've got other sources like YouTube and Seneca, for instance. So you can have different places that you get that information from. Whatever works for you is fine. Next step, once you've reviewed that information for the first time, then you need to regurgitate that information. Why do I call it regurgitate? Well, it's essentially exactly the same thing as the regurgitation process of a bird. Like an eagle, for instance, a mama eagle will go out and then it will find some food, it will digest that food, and then it will essentially throw up that information in a different form, which is, you know, essentially vomit, into its chicks' mouths to feed them. And I know this is probably not the nicest thing you want to be thinking of while you're studying, but it's exactly the same thing. You need to take that information that is in a certain format, put it into your head, and regurgitate it into a different format, into a different place. Hopefully not vomit, but you know, a mind map or bullet journaling or cue cards or whatever it is. But it's really important that after you take that reviewed information that you've heard from the first time, you're not just passively taking it in or reading it or even copying it down word for word, which is what I see a lot. You need to regurgitate it. You need to reprocess that information and put it into a different format from what you originally had it in. Next step is respond. Now, once you have done the regurgitation step, you've got a nice mind map or bullet journal or whatever you want to do, you now need to answer some questions to test that you actually have understood and remembered the bits that you need to know. And this doesn't have to be rocket science. It can be, again, the questions that are at the end of that topic in the textbook. It can also be from Seneca, because Seneca nicely gives you a bit of information, then asks you a question, bit of information, question. That's responding. You can also go on Quizlet and get a load of different cue cards that you can test your knowledge on, but there does need to be some kind of testing that you have understood the topic after you reviewed it. Next step is record. First thing I think you should be recording is how you found that topic going over it. And you can literally do this via, you know, a happy face, medium face, sad face system, or traffic light system, which is green for good and red for bad and amber for average. And what this will mean is that you'll have an understanding when it comes to the next step, which is recapping, of where you need to concentrate most of your time. So let's say you've just studied, I don't know, erosion in geography, and you come to the end of it and you don't feel like you understood a lot of it and it was really difficult. Just writing down the facts somewhere through any system you like that you found that difficult will mean that when you come to recap it later, you know to put extra effort into it. Again, I know I mentioned it before, but adapt is a really good, easy way that you can implement this method, because it gives you the opportunity, rate that particular topic in terms of a smiley face, sad face system, and then it will automatically re-input that particular topic later on for you to go over again. The other thing I think you should be recording is, in one place, a list of questions for things that you haven't been able to understand by yourself, because there is going to be a heck of a lot of content that, again, you're not being taught by a professional, and therefore you're not going to be expected to understand absolutely everything. But a good strategy is to target those particular areas. Say there's 20% of every topic you're covering that you don't understand. Making sure that you have this list of questions in one place, and then you can just go, when we go back to school, you can bombard your teacher with questions when you get back. And the sixth R in the I can't do it. And the final R in the system is to recap the information, and this is one that is so often missed out. They would do the regurgitation step, so they would take the information and they would make beautiful notes in bullet form or mind map, but then what they wouldn't do is then recap that information in a proper way. And recapping, it's not enough to just read the notes that you made. What you should be doing is essentially putting the notes that you've made into a different format again. So let's say you had bullet journal notes. You should essentially be trying to write down everything that you can remember from that topic. Rather than just reading those notes you made, you should be actively trying to recall it by putting it into another different format. And just a couple of techniques that you can do this through, for instance, is the scribble technique. A scribble technique or a revision clock, which I'm more than happy to do a video on. If that would be useful, let me know if it is. But making sure that you're actively creating something while you're recapping, rather than just reading the notes, because that's, if you're struggling to remember information, that's why. Okay guys, so that is the 6R system, or the I can't do it. I need to get better mnemonics. You get it. That's the 6R system. I hope that was useful, but just, you can write, as I say, just write that down and have that as a checklist every time you go through a topic. Have I done this step yet? And that'll help you, hopefully give you structure and purpose in your work process. And also another thing I'd add to this system is getting a tutor. Getting a personal tutor is going to help you with all of these different steps. Now, I would say everybody should have a tutor, and now everybody can. If you can afford it, there's plenty of online tutor companies out there. Go and get them. If you can't afford it, you can also sign up for a free tutor via this incredible initiative that I keep mentioning over and over again, but it's called the Coronavirus Tutoring Initiative, and you can get free tutoring from incredibly educated students from across England and help you with all of the things that we've just mentioned, essentially. Link in the below if you want to sign up. And as I say, if you found this content useful, there's plenty more similar stuff coming. So if it was useful, please do hit that subscribe button. As you can see, I'm still a pretty small YouTuber, so every single one really does mean a lot. And also please do comment. As I said, half-term plans below, I'm really interested, but also any more topics and bits and pieces that you might want to know, let me know, and I'll probably end up making it. Until next time, see you later.